Folks, welcome to an emergency episode of So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and I guess it's still Tuesday. Listen, I did not want to be talking to you guys right now, and especially talking to you about the news that we just heard today, and that is Vanderpump Rules in its current form with the cast that we are used to watching is no longer. They are going to reboot the entire cast. Now, there's a lot of emotions you guys are feeling. This is literally 2 days before Thanksgiving. We're in a holiday season right now. We've already had potentially a very hard November for a lot of us. So thanks, Alex Baskin. Thanks, Bravo. Amazing work. Yeah. Don't wait till January. Yeah, let us know now so we can even go into the holiday season feeling potentially even worse. Bang up job all the way around. Now, let's talk about what we know. Let's speculate about a lot of things that we don't know, but I think that we can deduce from the information that we have. Now, just yesterday or today's episode, I talked about Schwartz and Sandy's closing. The Toms sent out their, farewell messages in regards to their bar, Schwartz and Sandy's, right? And then we can start with the amazing news that we got today early in the morning. Now, I'm in New York, so I woke up early. I mean, like 8:30 early, but that's like 5:30 in Los Angeles. And I woke up to the news that Kristen Doute, OG Vanderpump Rules cast member, is pregnant again with her fiance, Luke Broderick. So this is the news I woke up to, and I thought, how amazing is this? I am so thrilled beyond belief. So this was at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I just woke up. This news came out. This is a People exclusive. And it said the Valley star is pregnant, expecting her first baby with fiance Luke Broderick. A rep for Doute confirms. That's Lori PK Relations confirms. Sharing a few sweet photos, Doute says that she and Broderick are overjoyed to be starting a family together. Quote, after our pregnancy loss last year, which they talked about on the season finale of The Valley, season 1, we decided to start trying in early 2024. I knew my age could be a factor in conceiving, so Luke and I discussed going for an extra push, a little help. In late summer, we decided to meet with a fertility specialist to learn about our options and what could be the next step if we decided to go that route. The next month was a whirlwind, getting educated on fertility, and eventually hormone shots and preparing my body for IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. So they didn't do IVF, they did IUI, which is a little different. Doute and Broderick met with Dr. Carolyn Alexander at Southern California Reproductive Center. Way to go, Dr. Carolyn. Calling the experience incredible. She cared with a perfect balance of science and good energy, successfully helping us create our little miracle. It didn't take long for Doute to get the exciting news about her pregnancy, and says Broderick was so happy to hear that their family is growing. Quote, the 2 weeks following the IUI procedure felt like years to get a correct outcome on a pregnancy test. 2 weeks time had to pass and I had to wait it out, but in my heart I knew it had worked. I tested one day early and got the big pregnant result staring back at me. I was relieved, overwhelmed, happy, excited, and nervous. The second I told Luke, he wasn't surprised, but was so happy that IUI worked the first time. We were prepared that it may not. He was joyful and beyond excited, to say the least. Our due date is in June, and we are really looking forward to expanding our little family and becoming parents. So remember, he popped the question in Maui, right? And you'll see that on season 2 of The Valley. And they are just engaged, but this is great. Now, I saw Kristen Doute at the Us Weekly Reality Star night, Reality Star of the Year red carpet, what was that, a month ago or something? And I talked to her on the red carpet. I got to find that interview because she was really nice, stopped and chatted. And then it was funny because that red carpet lasted like 2.5 hours. And she was already in the party, and I was at the very end. Jax had walked first, and then Brittany walked way after Jax, and Lori PK Relations was walking both of them. So there was like a big space in between Jax and then Brittany, and I was interviewing Brittany, and Doute came out and was like, I got to get out of here. And so we said goodnight, and she said goodnight to Brittany. I think I have that on film, actually. I got to go look for that. But Doute's even revealing now, she obviously knew then. It was like, this is too much. So I thought that was funny. And I'm used to listen, Lindsay Hubbard was pregnant when I interviewed her here in New York last year, and she lied to my face, and she apologized for it. But I'm used to be. And by the way, you got to protect this kind of information, and especially if you've, you know, you've already had a little bit of stumble in your pregnancy journey to begin with. So I'm just so thankful, and I really hope that everything works out. So I think this was amazing. So I went into today going, okay, so Schwartz and Sandy's closing down, but you've got this Doute news. And I said, the Vanderpump Rules ecosystem always finds a way to even things out. And then the news dropped, and I was like, never mind, never mind. So this is the article. Sorry, I'm getting so many texts and messages on my phone. Like I said, the brand is strong. A lot of people concerned. A lot of people, thank you everybody for checking in on me. I'm good. Listen, I lost my mom a year and a half ago. This is, I'm numb to a lot of this kind of stuff. But I want to say before we get into more information, you know, this sounds so cheesy, right? I understand. But this show, I mean, a couple of bad seasons, but even within those seasons, there's so many things that we laughed about or kind of get angry about. This is potentially the best reality show of all time, Vanderpump Rules. And I don't roll my eyes. I don't mean that facetiously. I don't mean that with a wink. It truly was, and you know, will be forever incredible television, incredible reality television. So I celebrate that. And I can't wait to see how this show grows in reputation, because I think this show holds up. I mean, we're going back on the Patreon and starting from season 1. And I'm just still, I go back and watch those episodes and I'm like, it's so damn good. It's so damn good. It is so ridiculous, but it also shows how over time, low-level fame and life gets in the way. It kind of corrupts. You saw that with Scandival. You know, these people had always been doing the cheating, the lying, all of that stuff. But when you throw low-level fame into it, when you throw television into it, I think Scandival really was this perfect example of, you know, throwing everything against the wall and showing, you know, what is the words I'm using for? It was like a perfect storm where everything kind of coincided at once, and you had 11 seasons of toxicity all explode with one event, and people kept screaming, well, they were doing this all along. Yeah, but they weren't that same age. They were in their 20s when they started doing it. Here's somebody nearing 40, and it's the same thing, and now it kind of caught fire and caught wind. Now, there are OG Vanderpump Rules fans out there. We've been watching it from the beginning or near the beginning. And then a lot of Vanderpump Rules people signed on once Scandival happened. And it's like, great, the more the merrier. The water's great, come on in. So to the people that have been there, OG, I know you guys are going through a wave of emotions. And once again, I don't say that with some sort of laugh, but I do think it is funny in our parasocial brains. We really take this stuff very seriously. That's another example of why, or another reason why Scandival really exploded the way it did, because we do take this seriously. We do feel like, in a way, that these are our friends, these are our family. And I know that is a sick thought, but it is very, very true. Okay, so before we get into more news, let's try to get on the same page. Let's try to, and by the way, we can do this as a little bit of a sad one. I usually say get up, dance, but maybe this one you get up and you slow dance. You know, maybe wrap your arms around yourself and act like you're slow dancing with yourselves. And we're going to keep playing this song until the end of time. I think this song is just going to get more popular and more popular, but let's play it once with an intention and with a thank you for 11 great seasons, mostly great seasons of reality television. The only way we can truly celebrate is with Dina Deadly, who has written one of the best songs. I mean, this is why, if Vanderpump Rules was a movie, this would have won Song of the Year. This would have won an Oscar. And now that I'm thinking about that, what if we just started making Vanderpump Rules movies? Like, we just got the cast together once every year and just did like an hour-and-a-half movie. I mean, listen, this is canceled, but remember, reality television is wild. Things get brought back up. Things get put on pause. I mean, Shaws of Sunset is coming back to Bravo. Flipping Out with Jeff Lewis is coming back to Bravo. There are so many different variables, and things change all the time. These people are not going away. We have not lost them for good. We have just put a close on a specific chapter. And life will move on, and we will have these on Peacock for the end of time, unless Peacock starts charging an exorbitant amount of money to watch them, which literally they might. I mean, maybe Trump's going to slap tariffs on Vanderpump Rules. Who knows? But let's one time together enjoy this perfect song for a very sad moment. Here we go. Oh, the tears are flowing. Oh, I'm triggered. I'm triggered.
Light up the sky, burn it up like a candle. When life gets hard, too hot to handle. All you need is love in the boombox to make this world rock and bump to the groove stops.
Ooh. Let's give it up for 11 seasons, folks. Pour one out. He did burn a hole in the sky, folks. Boom! Happy Thanksgiving. These were the best days of our lives. Were. Raise your Diet Cokes high. Let's keep it going. Let's one for Ken. I wonder if Ken knows it's been canceled. Or, I mean, it hasn't really. Here we go. Special effects. Computer.
Staying out late, living under the street lights. Getting all night, we just sleeping our free time. Saving our breath till the time that we need it. Want it so hard, you can see that we bleed it. We are young and we're free.
Cry with me, folks. I feel like a DJ at a strip club. It's ladies' night. Get on. Here comes Topaz. Topaz. Wow, folks. Just as powerful today as it's been every day that I played this in the last year. Okay, so let's get a little bit more into it, because we got that they are not returning with this cast, but Vanderpump Rules is returning. They're doing kind of a Roni, right? They're going to continue on. So there will be a season 12 of Vanderpump Rules. Like I always told you, there would be. It's just in a different way than we thought it would be. Okay, so initially the plan was to bring back the cast, right? So some things happened, obviously, since the reunion that made that more and more difficult. And I think, you got to think of like, oh my God, it would have been so amazing. You could do it. We're a fickle audience, right? We're kind of damned if you do, damned if you didn't. We're going to complain and bitch and moan about everything. But at the end of the day, we all did want it to come back. But there are so many other variables that take place that have to like work to make it worth it for production. Now you're like, and I've always said, this brings in a lot of money. It was the #1 rated cable show for Bravo. And I think for a time, the #1 rated cable show in just cable when it was airing this past season and a half. But you got to look at the cost risk benefit in terms of the production company. So you had Evolution Media with Alex Baskin, and then 32 Flavors with Alex Baskin. That's his newer company that is producing The Valley. So I think they gave a little time for everybody to cool their heels. Obviously, Lala went off. And they never, I don't think Lala is the reason why this show is not coming back, but I do think she didn't help things a lot. Now, overall, if you want to blame somebody, I think that's a little short-sighted, but of course you could blame Scandival. And I do think, man, that's a lot. It's a lot to think about Sandoval having to close Schwartz and Sandy's and knowing that one of the reasons, or part of the reasons, is because of Scandival. And also now the show, at the end of the day, it really kind of wrecked relationships so bad that they are now not returning. But we could just blame it on Rachel Leviss too. I mean, but I do think it was really hard. Lala was doing a bunch of interviews, and like I said, I was on there with Jeff Lewis with her a couple of weeks ago, and I told you, if you listen to the show, I came home that day and I was really, really sad. I was really sad because I felt like, oh man, I don't think Lala ended up looking great. And I want, I don't want anybody to look bad, myself included. And you just got the sense, or I got the sense in person with her, that she really, whatever was going on with her and Ariana, she was very fine with not being friends with her. And I think part of the magical deal with the devil you make in reality is that you have to leave yourself open to being friends with people that you don't want to be friends with. Even Ariana admitted, yeah, I have to be around this guy. I do not like it. I do not want to be with it. Don't talk to me, but I can be in the same space. And you might have seen that kind of get better with future seasons. Who knows? But I will say, whatever happened between Lala and Ariana, and it feels, or at least it appears to be, when you look at it from the outside, really coming from Lala. Because Lala would comment on Ariana, and Ariana really wouldn't comment on Lala. And I always kind of more admire or more look up to the people that, people are going to talk shit about you all the time. People are going to talk shit. And the hardest thing you can do is not fire back, even if you want to. But people really want to be shitty, and they feel good sometimes about being shitty. And I don't think they realize until much later that it just makes them look bad, even if they think they have these amazing reasons. It's just that we never, the audience, and maybe it wasn't our business, but we never got to share in those reasons. So every time Lala would explain something, it didn't really hold water as somebody that watched the show so much. And I hold space for Lala. By the way, if you guys listen to this show or listen to me ever, I always said Lala's going to have a really decent career after Vanderpump Rules. I mean, I was like, this is a person that I could see hosting like Access Hollywood, doing interviews for Extra. I mean, she's very personable. Off camera, she's so nice. She's so funny. There are so many qualities about Lala that I think, it's like a mini Stassi in a way, where I'm like, you could really see... you can really see the Stassi DNA in Lala in some ways. I just think she goes so hard in the paint, and she does not relent at all, and she digs her heels in, and I think sometimes that will potentially do a disservice to her long term. But I think one of the good things for this cast now is that now that they know, they can go make other plans. They can go figure their shit out. Now, I was just on Shenanigans like a week and a half ago, and I told you guys then too. I said, listen, Sheena doesn't seem to know yet. Because I said there's been rumors that they start up in January, there's this. And she said no. She said she definitely wants to come back, will come back if they offer, of course, all of this stuff, but they do not have a start date. Now, like I said, I've been lied to my face by many Vanderpump Rules cast members and other Bravo celebrities, so I always take that with a grain of salt. I'm like, who knows? By the way, but Sheena also doesn't have a great poker face, so, I kind of trusted Lala. Now, I trusted Sheena. I also ran into somebody that works or has worked on Vanderpump Rules in the past at the reality show awards I was at last Monday, and we had a small conversation where I was kind of like, so what is happening? Are you coming back in January? That seems to be the rumor. And they said, no. They said, we don't have a date yet. And this person was like, believe me, I want to work on this. Are you kidding me? And that was another one where I was like, I do trust this person. So I told you guys, I was like, this is the information I have. You always got to be careful of me or anyone telling you firm details, unless you hear it from Bravo or from the production company themselves. And the production company themselves has told us a couple of fibs throughout time as well. But you usually kind of just like wait until it's from production. But you got to be careful of those people that are like, I have firm information. It's starting here and it's going to shoot for 3 weeks and da-da-da. Those things a lot of the times turn out to be false, or they're true at one point. And these production deals are so slippery, and trying to get everybody on board on the same page can be really difficult. And remember, there was so much money involved, not just in terms of the money the show was making, but the money that the cast could demand at a certain point. You had people renegotiating their contracts potentially. It's a very expensive reality show to produce. And the good thing about most reality shows are they are cheap to produce, right? Or you want to put all that money up on screen and lighting. all of that stuff, make it look good, but they usually pay the cast shit. And that's why when you start being into your fourth season, your fifth season, you are getting more and more money, and that takes away from Bravo and production and NBC Universal's bottom line. So, as I always try to break it to you guys, I hate to break it to you, but overall, these corporate overlords, they're trying to make money. They don't give a shit if they're like, oh, these guys want a farewell season. Let's wrap everything up for them in a big, nice bow. That'll be nice. No! I mean, it would be cool if two things can be true at once, which sometimes they are, and it lines up that way. But at the end of the day, it's about profits. It's about making money. That's it. We look at it in this kind of romantic, hazy, cotton candy sort of way, where we're like, oh, but it would be so great, and wouldn't this be cool? And then you could have people hugging, and then you could see where they're going. Yeah, of course, we want all this like wrapped up in this nice little bow, and we're just not going to get it this time. But we might get elements of it. There's still a lot of things with a big, giant question mark on it. Even things that were going through my head because they are now. This is the TMZ article we got today. TMZ was the first to break the news. Vanderpump Rules rebooting entire cast, ... OG stars not surprised. It says, pour one out for the OG stars of Vanderpump Rules. Bravo just announced they're rebooting the entire cast for season 12 of the reality show. The network tells TMZ Lisa Vanderpump will be back for... Oh, thank God Lisa's back. Oh, it's me they want. Well, don't worry. Everybody's gone but me. Oh, their dreams are coming true. I can't believe they let everybody go but Lisa. I can't believe that. Is it true the whole cast was in a jacuzzi with Raquel? I can't believe that. Yeah, Lisa's back, the one we wanted. But she will be surrounded by a new group of staffers who work at her West Hollywood hotspot, SUR. I hate to break the news, you guys. John Jansen and Alexis Bellino just got hired at SUR, so they are definitely in the new cast. No, I'm joking. Season 12 returns to the show's original formula, which takes viewers the original. It's the same formula. They work at a bar and they cheat on each other, which takes viewers back inside LVP's mini restaurants. By the way, SUR honestly has seen better days. Can we get a paint job in there? Can we get the smell of like Red Bull and vodka and Marlboro Lights out of that place? Just burn it all down. I just said save the SUR alleyway. That should be a historic landmark. But other than that, just burn that. It's too many. It's like Harry Potter's Horcruxes. Too many bad vibes in that area. Sources connected with the show tells TMZ stars Tom Sandoval, Tom Schwartz, Ariana Madix, Sheena Shea, James Kennedy, Katie Maloney, and Lala Kent were notified of this decision by production last night. We're told most of the cast wasn't too surprised by the new direction, especially after the show was put on pause back in April. Despite the shakeup, our sources say the OG stars will still have a home at the network, as there will be other avenues for them to explore within the Bravo NBC universe. We're told Lala, Sheena, as well as husband Brock Davies and Schwartz are all making appearances on season 2 of The Valley, a spinoff already starring other VPR alums. Lala responded to the news by releasing a statement on Instagram where she noted she was unbelievable grateful for every moment. TMZ broke the story. Production had picked up cameras in September to film new faces, all of whom were servers at Vanderpump's business. At the time, sources said the footage was meant for a new project, but it's clear Bravo decided to pursue the cast over the OGs for season 12. Fans will get a chance to say goodbye to original servers, however. A retrospective special will drop ahead of the new season. So that article, answered a lot. They updated that article as well. So the retrospective, a Vanderpump Rules documentary, I ain't mad at it. Yeah, let me host that fucker. Hey guys, Ryan Bailey. Who knew, right? No. So that was a lot of information. And what it pointed out too, which I've told you guys before, is that NBC Universal is going to keep a lot of these people in the fold, right? They're going to throw them bones. Now, Tom Sandoval, he's going to be on The Traitors season 3 that premieres early January, right? So you got that. Jax, Brittany, Doute, Lou, all those guys are on The Valley. So they're taken care of. We also know that Lala and Sheena appear on The Valley. We still don't know how much they appear on The Valley, but as I've told you all along, I think Sheena in particular appears more than anybody is letting on, but I do not have that as a fact, so do not quote me. I am not looking for any press with that. That's just a vibe I'm getting. And I believe Lala as well. Now, one thing Lala did say on Jeff Lewis when I was there with her, I said, did they film you giving birth? Because I was like, if they film Lala giving birth, that means she's a big part of the Valley season 2. And she said, oh, they tried, but I wouldn't let them. And just the fact that they tried, even that little piece of information goes, oh, okay, so they really are, putting Lala in there to some degree. Now, it could just be as a friend of right now, but I think you'll probably see those roles increase in the Valley season 3. But you can also imagine a world in which Schwartz pops in to be a babysitter a lot. Now, there will be spinoffs. Will we get a something about her spinoff with Katie and Ariana? Who knows? And I'm so tired of us as an audience, myself including, going, oh, I don't want to see that. Fuck that. Oh, keep it. Guys, we said the same damn thing with the Valley, and we ended up really liking the Valley. So whatever they have in store, remember, at least they're trying. Listen, for every Jax and Britt take Kentucky, there's a Valley. So there's a silver lining in every big piece of shit. And who knows? Who knows, right? We're going to go through the cast and talk about like potential things or what my dreams are for this cast, but I love that the article does point that Brock is in the Valley, Schwartz makes appearance in the Valley, so it's very incestuous still. And I'm not mad at the Valley listen, I thought the Valley had its own thing going. I've said that many times, but if they're going to reverse course and start depending on Vanderpump Rules people to fill it out, I hope they prove their worth. I will say this, don't count Sheena out. Don't count Sheena out. Sheena always makes it production, I'm having a stroke because of today, but Sheena always proves her worth. Whether you like her or not, she always finds a way to prove her worth. Sheena's been on the ropes before in terms of Vanderpump Rules in ways that we don't even know. Like I've said, there were seasons where Sheena wasn't considered a series regular in terms of contract, but she made it so she was in like very needed in terms of the storyline. Sheena always knows the assignment to a degree, and I think she's very savvy in that way, even if she doesn't admit it. But if you look back at all the seasons, like I said, I'm going back from season 1, and she's just always finds a way to be there. She always finds a way to be in the action. And, I think that is kind of what clocked in means. So I do even see a world in which, who knows, maybe in Vanderpump Rules season 12, Sheena comes in to like whip these fuckers into shape. Like going, when I was a server, this is how I did it. And this is how you need to do it. You can imagine all these kind of fake scenarios. But remember, it was kind of fake towards the end of Vanderpump Rules, not the end, or the middle of Vanderpump Rules, when they all still acted like they worked there, when they were just clocking in for like a couple weeks for filming and they would go back to, being pseudo wealthy. So you have that, which, I think that's kind of exciting possibilities to think about in terms of Sheener. But I don't want a lot of negativity about this because I think that's our go-to. That's our default as a Bravo audience. And also, I think we're trained to do that. I think this year has done that to us. They were all like, fuck that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I will say, like I said earlier, though, I do think the Lala thing really bummed me out. That was when I started reversing course in my own opinions, thinking as a producer, or I kind of wondered what production was thinking, going, is it really worth it? Is it worth us trying to mend these fences when it's been 6 months and this person does not want to mend at all? I mean, the reality of the reality just got to be, everything is so spread out. The Valley, at least, you have these kids. I mean, Jax's, Sheena, Lala's kid all goes to the same school. Like, those are actual natural things that you can kind of build a show around or build scenes around. But with Vanderpump Rules, they don't work there. Schwartz and Sandy's is closed. TomTom is still there, but remember, they own 5% stake, Schwartz and Sandoval, in TomTom. Like, what? There's no clubhouse that they all meet up at. Ariana's busy doing her own shit, and it seems like there is a lot of, I will say, to this day, what was said about Ariana in that final episode and at the reunion is really fucking brutal. It's not the most brutal thing I've heard on Bravo. Some of that's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Lisa and Meredith talking to each other. But this was pretty brutal. As a person, I would have been very, very hurt at that. And I still think there is some element of this of like Lala is just being really tough and eventually they will talk. In fact, by the way, I think now that a show is not predetermining these relationships, that Sheena and Ariana will at some point really mend fences because they are very real friends from the beginning, before the show. And I think without having to worry about the show, they will be able to mend that friendship. I hope the same for all of them. I hope that Lala is able to one day have a heart-to-heart with Ariana, or maybe even get some perspective a year or two down the line and realize how upsetting her behavior was, not just to the audience, but to Ariana, and stop like inserting herself and personalizing it with her own experiences, because her relationship with Randall is obviously very toxic as well, but it's very different than Sandoval and Ariana, in my opinion. And also, there's no winner here. Nobody wins in terms of horrible, toxic men in their life. Everybody loses. And it was just, I don't know, it just still felt weird. So I do have a hope that all of these people will probably now get to actually repair their friendships, because I don't think that was going to happen with the television show. So what we would have gotten was a really disjointed show that people would have really complained about over and over and over again. But it's like that family member that you dislike. They're still family. You still show up for them. So we would have watched it and we would have been like, those are our knuckleheads. So we would have been there. I would have been so excited. I would have recapped the hell out of it. But I think this is the right move, because they would have had to force so many fake interactions. They really would. And I think the cast obviously found out yesterday, and that's why we got the Schwartz and Sandy announcement when we did. I think, not that I think it was the final factor, but I do think if they had been picked up for another season, they might have kept Schwartz and Sandy's open for a bit longer. Just because it's like free advertisement. It probably wouldn't have helped that much, but it would have been something. So I think once that word came in, they pulled the trigger on making that announcement. And then Doute had that 3 or 4 hour window this morning before they announced the Vanderpump Rules news. You always got to look at the placement of these press releases. I just think as an audience, how dare of you, Bravo and Evolution Media, to do this 2 days before Thanksgiving. I think it's going to change a lot of our Thanksgiving meal speeches now, where everybody out there with families, you say, hey, I want to say something before we start this meal. I'd like to raise a glass. I'd like to raise a glass, and just start naming them off. Ariana, Sheena, Lala, Sandoval, Schwartz, Laura Lee, DJ James Kennedy, Allie, and just start like Peter, Jiggy, Lisa, Ken, or just Guillermo. Just keep naming them, and they'll be like, what the fuck is Ryan talking about? He's like, he gives a speech every, raise a glass this Thanksgiving and celebrate everything that we have had from them. Even pour one out for Dog the Lizard. Rest in peace, 2018 to 2018. So that's the article there. Now let's go into some Instagram posts from the cast members themselves, okay? One sec, let me get it up. Okay, once again, I just took a break, and I'm just gonna say, like, it's so wild, man. Anytime I take some sort of vacation or go on a trip or something, there's always some sort of breaking news. And it's not like I have to do this. It's not like any of you guys need this, but then I feel like I need to do it. And so I just get super anxious, and I want to be talking to you guys. There's a sickness inside of me, obviously. Lisa Vanderpump just posted this 46 minutes ago on Instagram. Let's start there. What a wild ride the last 11 years have been. Thank you to all of our cast for sharing your lives and stories, and for being a part of this journey. How I've loved each and every one of you. And that was it. And then a pink heart emoji. I thought it would be a little more poetic than that, but Lisa's like, I'm coming back, you fuckwits. Ha 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 ha. They're gone. I stay. Because remember, there was a rumor out there a couple weeks ago that Lisa was not going to be returning, that she was being pushed out, and that's where Vanderpump Villa season 2 was coming into play, because remember, Lisa has Vanderpump Villa over on Hulu, and Stassi Schroeder is coming back to the fold with Vanderpump Villa season 2, which they've already filmed, and I'm hearing it's really, really good. I'm hearing it's way better than season 1. You got to sometimes let these shows find their footing. So people were saying, Lisa's not going to come back to Vanderpump Rules. Now, I love Lisa Vanderpump. I love Vanderpump Rules. I loved her on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. My secret desire is for her to go back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which will probably never happen. But sometimes, even going back and doing my rewatch, the scenes with her talking about the wine list or the food, spicy pasta. I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I think the fact is she's a legend, but you know, you're talking about the driving force in the action, and it was these crazy kids doing insane things. Also, just once again, who the fuck thought in 2024 that Jax Taylor's bar would still be open and he would actually have a job on television where Schwartz and Sandoval no longer do? What a weird world this is. It's just truly this roller coaster of fuckery. I can't believe it. Okay, so let's go to some other people, other cast members posting. I still don't think we have Schwartz or Sandoval yet. They're still riding high off their Schwartz and Sandy's announcement last night. But let's see here. Let's go to, okay, Lala says, we'll start with Lala. And I'm trying to hold space and be nice to everyone because I really am thankful for this show. Now, Lala, remember, she wasn't an OG. She came later on. So Sheena's true OG. And by the way, if they are doing, I was talking about this on Instagram today, if, you know, Vanderpump Rules started with a connector scene from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fed right into Vanderpump Rules, and that's how we were introduced to these crazy kids. And then Vanderpump Rules, remember, had a connector scene with the Valley, and that's how we started the Valley. So I hope there's some sort of passing the baton either from the Valley into the new iteration of Vanderpump Rules, and I hope that Sheena is the connector scene. Sheena started this show. Whether you like Sheena or not, she started this show. And I think she does deserve kind of the respect for that. I mean, truly. So I hope they give her that, and I hope they actually honor the kind of really sordid, toxic tradition of passing the baton from a bunch of older toxic people to younger toxic people. And I said also today, are there more toxic younger people in Los Angeles? You're damn right there is. Will I want to watch them? Probably not at first, but we just can't count anything out until we see this. Okay, so Lala Kent wrote, where to begin? I was a young girl from Salt Lake City. Oh, interesting. I didn't know she was from Salt Lake. Who made her way to LA. I would introduce myself as Lauren, but because my childhood best friend referred to me as Lala, my nickname quickly stuck. Sir was a place that became home. I found myself not only sipping on vodka sodas there, but behind a hostess stand. It still to this day is the most intimidating job I've ever had. A short time later, the opportunity to be on a show called Vanderpump Rules landed in front of me. I have such mixed feelings right now. It's no secret. I do not like change. This is the exception. I want to say thank you for rocking with us for so many years. This show changed my whole life. I'm unbelievably grateful for every moment. I'm unbelievably grateful for Bravo, for NBCU, that's NBC Universal, for our crew, the entire cast, and most importantly, all of you. We rocked this bitch until the wheels fell off. Stassi commented underneath that, this post makes me feel some feelings. Good. Well, you really did rock this bitch until the wheels come off. I feel like the wheels could have got put back on, but we're all getting older and it just probably wouldn't be the reality, right? So Katie Maloney, let's move to Katie's page, heading over to her IG right now. Music kills Katie. And there's good news in all of these people's lives. Something about her is doing bang up business. I think they will franchise that at some point. Got a new boyfriend. So a lot of really cool things. She did an Instagram story saying, it's a mixed bag, but I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you for the memories and the love the last 11 years. And she had a photo of her in the old server uniform. So there will probably still be an Instagram post to look forward to from Katie Maloney. But a lot of these things that you're seeing over and over again have the same kind of tone. It's been a mixed bag. For us, the audience, not nearly as much as the cast and crew, right? They've been through this in a way emotionally. I mean, we say we feel emotional and we do get emotional about this show, but they fucking lived it. They virtual reality'd this thing, man. I mean, this is her marriage broke up. She got married on this show. I mean, think about how many really horrific life events they went through on this show. So I can completely understand that because it changed their lives forever. I mean, these people were all trying to be actors, musicians, writers, all of these things, and they wound up reality stars. They wound up reality stars in a way where you're like, oh, you can make a career out of reality? That wasn't a thing. You had the Kardashian World Road Rules Challenge people. Vanderpump Rules made it almost chic. It was kind of influencer culture before influencer culture in a lot of ways. And you still see it to this day. I mean, Jax is still getting in trouble all the time. I mean, really, if anything, I hope Sandoval takes a solid year off. I don't think he can afford it, and I'm not making a joke, but I wish he'd take a certain, like a year off and get back to some sort of reality in his head, because, or have some university study the after effects of being on a show like this. And I think Sandoval would be ripe for some sort of study, not a documentary, but a study on what this shit does to you over time. Now, Andy Cohen wrote, "These were the best days of our lives." Andy, I wrote that like 20 minutes before you did, but you know, you have a bigger following, I guess. God, I love Andy Cohen. I can't believe I'm in the same town as him right now. Now, Ariana Madix, you guys. Ariana, she posted a beautiful slideshow of 20 photos of all the girls through the years, all of these great moments. There's some crew in here. I notice you have Jeremiah in one of them in a funny photo. You know, you have her current boyfriend. You have one of Sandoval and Brock, but not a lot. There's none of Sandoval, and it doesn't look like any of Schwartz. Now, I loved Ariana. Her says, "Vanderpump Rules, you will be forever that girl. I was up till 4 a.m. looking for all the right pics and the right words, but there's no post or caption that could ever encapsulate everything. I am forever grateful to have been part of such an incredible cultural phenomenon," and it was, and it will be. Thank you at Bravo TV, Lisa USA, for every experience over the last 10 years. Thank you to every single crew member, producer, and our showrunners. Seeing you guys every summer was like coming home to see family. That I will miss very much, but you have my number, so just text me. Thank you especially to the fans. You've been the constant over the last decade. Your love and support is what I'll miss the most about it ending. You made this show what it is. To the fans who have shown up for us, old and new, it's all because of you that we are here. I'm feeling peace with closing this chapter, and I'm excited for everything that is to come. I don't know that these were the best days of our lives, but they were definitely something special. I thought that was beautifully written. Ariana usually being able to say the right thing in a moment, and she also takes, you know, sketch comedy very seriously, so had a couple jokes in there. But for somebody like Ariana, I feel like this decision didn't have to be hers. She's going to be okay for now. I think that without a doubt, she's coming back to Love Island. She did Broadway. Broadway, I think, is in her future again. She's getting parts on actual TV shows. She was just on the ABC show Will Trent a couple of weeks ago. So the world has really opened up to Ariana. And sure, of course, it's in this horrific way that was the catalyst for it happening, but it happened. So I think if anything, there is probably so much, I mean, there's fear for everybody and fear for Ariana, but I would imagine there's so much excitement because when she was a little kid, she didn't dream of being on a reality show. She dreamt of being on Broadway and TV and all of these things. And she's being able to realize her dreams. So that is dope. Now, the other ones, I think, you know, they're probably a little scarier, right? Like, where are we going to go? You know, all these people want to be a part of their lives now, but where will they be a year from now? That's what I keep saying. The real check-in will be a year or two from now, seeing who still has their podcast, where everybody's at. We see it on Housewives all the time, how it really can change people. And then you all of a sudden feel these housewives begging to get back on reality television. And that kind of feeder system is really upsetting to watch. And it's sometimes embarrassing for the housewives when you feel like they're begging to be back on their respective franchises. So we'll see, right? But I could imagine a world in which Lala eventually goes to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I could. And by the way, every idea I say, I don't need people to be like, no, I don't want to fucking see that. You don't know what you want until you see it. You know when it's right. And sometimes you got to try crazy things, but they work. Now, we have not had a post from Sheena yet, I believe. And, you know, we know Sheena, and without a shadow of doubt, I think she is probably taking this the hardest right now. She is in New York as well, and she's with her family and little Summer Moon and Brock. And, you know, a lot of these people already, she was commenting on Doute's thing going, rainbow babies are the most special. You're going to be an amazing mother. Congratulations, Kristen Doute. She wrote that 6 hours ago, already knowing the news from that TMZ article. She already knew the news and she posted that. So I think hopefully we'll get a post from Sheena kind of summing up her feelings. But I imagine she's taken this really tough. And there's no joking in that at all. And listen, I posted so many stupid memes today and everybody kept saying, has anyone checked on Sheena? Because that's like the big joke. And yeah, I did check on Sheena. I did, you know, and I hope she's okay. I really do. I think these people, you have to realize this truly was a huge part of their lives, and it's really scary out there. But like I said, they're going to be in different places. They're going to keep getting jobs from NBC Universal. You will see spinoffs. I really, truly believe that. Whether we want to see that, whether we make those shows a success, that's in the eye of the beholder. I do wonder if, I would love to see the text threads right now between the cast. I wonder if there's been one with everybody on, even Sandoval and Schwartz. Like, they really did create something magical with all this toxicity, right? It's like Vanderpump Rules, where friendships go to die. Okay. And also, who would have thought that Peter Madrigal, the manager at SUR, was playing the long game? He wasn't in last season of Vanderpump, but now he's probably going to be in the new iteration because he's still the fucking manager. He's like, you know what? You just keep working, Peter. They'll eventually come back to SUR. They will eventually be back here one day. Okay. Now, if you go to, I follow the SUR Rules account, which is Sexy Unique Restaurants' actual Instagram account, and they post with their actual staff all the time. So you got Guillermo still over there. You got Peter. Now, the first photo, November 16th, this was posted with a bunch of their current staff. One is named Hannah Rose Lowe. One is named Marcus Jordan. One is Mike Grancelli. One McKenna. One Gabriella something, but they're all actors. They're all young kids. Who knows if this is the cast? There's other photos with many more servers and things like that. But yeah, SUR is still open for business, believe it or not. And, you look at this, and I was looking at the photo. I'm like, do I see stars here? No, I don't. But if you would have shown me the picture of the Vanderpump Rules crew in 2013, I don't know if I would have seen like star. I think that's lightning in a bottle. And yeah, most likely Vanderpump Rules is not going to catch on the way that it once did. There's too much water on the bridge, too much history. But people saying, oh, why are they still calling it Vanderpump Rules? I'd rather it just be called something else. No, this is where where it's like, fuck your feelings, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, from a corporate standpoint, Vanderpump Rules is amazing IP. IP, we were talking about the other day, it stands for intellectual property. So Vanderpump Rules, just the name alone is worth a lot of money. Is that people know Vanderpump Rules. It's a recognizable brand. People spend all their lives trying to make a recognizable brand, and Vanderpump Rules did that. So of course they're going to name it Vanderpump Rules, because fucknuts like me are still going to watch it even if we hate it, and we're going to be like, oh, the new Vanderpump Rules. Even if we hate watching it at first, we're still going to watch it just to complain about it. And there is like a 10% chance that it could be great. A 10% chance. We will see. But Alex Baskin, who knows what's up his sleeve. So I would imagine, remember, they did that test footage back a couple months ago, and they were saying that for a separate project, but I would imagine they got enough footage that made them interested, that made Bravo confident enough to say, you know what, let's go to plan B, let's go for this show. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, by the way, it's going to be such an adjustment for me. I don't want to learn new imitations. I mean, I'm just hoping that one of these new servers has a lisp. If not, I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked. Let's see here. Okay. I'm still thinking about Lala's, you better damn well care about my paycheck. Well, listen, now nobody's getting a paycheck. You're going to get a whole bunch of different paychecks. Schwartz and Sandy's. Oh, this is what I also wanted to bring up. Lala. Now I'm curious. We talked about this story on Monday's Pop Culture Roundup with Sophie, how Jessica Walter, Lala's former co-host of Give Them Lala, it no longer works on Give Them Lala. And there's been a lot of speculation as to what happened. And there's been a lot of veiled, I think Lala said some veiled things, and Jessica's posted some veiled things of reading into the hidden meanings. A lot of people were like, well, maybe Lala found out Vanderpump Rules wasn't coming back, and she wanted to cut expenses. I don't know. I think two things can be true at once. I think it wasn't looking good that it was coming back, but I think that wasn't the only reason that Jessica is no longer there, but it is interesting timing, right? Lala has a very successful podcast, I believe, and Sheena has a very successful podcast, I believe. We'll see. We will see on that. Wanted to mention that. What else? I know I'm forgetting something else to tell you guys. Hold on. Oh, let's go through the cast. Did DJ James Kennedy post anything yet? I'm DJ James Kennedy. Guys night! James Kennedy is out on the road pretty soon with Pauly D from Jersey Shore. He had a Vegas residency. The dude seems to have really cleaned up his act, and I really am all for that. He has not made a post yet. He gets very emotional, we know. But, I wonder, how, if this is going to do anything with his and Allie's relationship, or if it's going to make them stronger. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a world in which Allie starts working at SUR. We don't know. There could be little connecting cast members everywhere. I'm sure there are little moments. It's part of the extended Vanderpump Rules multiverse, just like Marvel has. There is never goodbye in reality TV. There's just on pause. So remember that but it's okay to feel sad. It's okay. I feel sad. And I was just thinking about that as we start closing this down is, this show, it's like music. It's like the soundtrack of our lives, right? Reality shows are the same thing. I can remember what I was going through when I first started really loving Vanderpump Rules. I remember being really pissed watching it at first because I thought I was tricked into watching a new show when I thought I was going to get a 2-hour Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I loved. And then all of a sudden I have to watch these like young, hot people. Fuck that. No, I don't want to watch that. And then you start to actually dig it, you start to love it. I have been through so many changes in my own life with this show. I'm doing this podcast. I mean, a lot of it is because of Vanderpump Rules. I mean, a lot of my, I owe so many things, good and bad, to this show. So there are so many emotions wrapped up into that. I mean, when my mom, when she was sick, I mean, it was Scandival. We were watching these. I remember watching Watch What Happens Live with her when Schwartz was on there acting like a doofus and like saying dumb things and her calling these like crazy kids. And there's so much of myself tied up in this show. And thankfully we talk about so many other things on this show, but man, I mean, it is really emotional. I have so many interesting friendships and great friendships because of this show. I mean, really, it is just been wild to watch this from afar. And there are so many great things, and I do think this is the right time to end it. I mean, I know that's really hard to hear. I just think it would be so impossible to make something that would actually be worthy of another season with the way things are right now. And it is really sad. It is really sad, but hats off to everybody, including Sandoval, including Jax, including all of these people. They really did something, and I don't think they did it on purpose, but allowing cameras to be there for their really stupid moments really did something for us. And I think we'll have more things to talk about this in the coming weeks, even tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. But I just wanted to hop on here with some information that we got thus far. And, like I said, there's always silver linings. Doute's pregnant. That's amazing. There's a lot of really exciting things to come for all of these people, but we'll find out. Once something is done, or this part of it, it's really interesting to see where life takes you. So that's where we will be looking towards now. Okay, you guys, hang in there. This is an emergency episode. Go listen to today's interview with Abe from Roni. I really like that. And we talk to Schwartz and Sandy's for like a half hour beforehand. So go check that out. Make sure to leave us 5 stars on Apple Pods and Spotify. Love ya. Hope you're having a good Thanksgiving so far. Bye.